The following is brought to you in part by System Blue. Products and education. System Blue.
The uniform is very formal, but it also has a sassy, sexy feel to it. Every single piece of the costume has a story to tell, and it correlates with the show.
In the beginning, we start off with a jacket. The inner layer is a sequence layer. It has like a nice double blue color to it, and then it also has a stripe of yellow and pink as well as black to make it blend and look really well together.
The female costume on the front part of it has the male collar of the tuxedo, and in the ballet, and the boys are holding on into their dresses, and the girls are kind of holding on into the front part of the tuxedo. So I think it's kind of a love story with the connection of each other's clothes and kind of telling the story through that.
Although we start with the shako at the beginning of the show, we do take it off when we take off our jackets as well. I remember the first time I put on my uniform, and I will never forget that moment for the rest of my life.
The 2018 Blue Devil production, Dreams and Nighthawks, portrays the stories of 4 characters from Edward Hopper's iconic painting. And right at the start of the show, the audience, both visually and musically, is thrown directly into the heart of where our story takes place, the dizzying streets of downtown New York City.
Yeah, go. Who needs your dames like you are a dime a dozen? Go on, get out of here, beat it!
So the opening of the show, we have just a lot of really fast runs, and we're all playing at forte, so we're at a very obviously high velocity, high height, and it's really tough because a lot of the parts are harmonized with each other. Like, for instance, myself and Marimba 4, we're playing the same part, whereas Marimba 2 and 3 are playing a different part, and we have to kind of fit our sound and rhythm into the overall grid. We try to get it to where we're able to just play it cold without having warmed up or broken anything down. Just because at the beginning of the show, we're standing there for a little bit after setting up, and we have to just be very ready to go.
The energy is very chaotic. There's constantly things moving on the field. We're immediately running right out of the gate, and we are trying to simulate the Doppler effect. So the low brass and the high brass will come in and out to where it's like trucks are going by or cars are going by in the city.
And where the small ensemble sits in all of that is we kind of wander around like we are the ones dropped straight into New York City. Like we're kind of admiring and kind of in shock of all the busyness and chaos that is the city. And we help, in a little bit afterwards, we help fill into that noise. We play really fast 16th note runs and a couple of the phrases that don't go with the rest of the ensemble to kind of layer on top of their chaotic music.
I'm playing the role of the news reporter. My character is looking for a story, so there's all these things going on around me, and the idea is that the reporter is trying to figure out what the next big story is. And so I'm typing on my typewriter, and then I stand, and I just look straight up into the audience. I feel like I know something that they don't know. Like I know what the story is, but they don't know what it is yet.
So my big role in the show is playing the role of the gangster / smooth criminal. And after the stabs, we come in with the lower motif, and it's just basically a nice pretty song about me and the lady in red vibing with each other and just being happy, like a couple that's just so in love. While me and the lady in red are dancing, Elijah, the reporter, comes around and is kind of sneaking up on us, trying to see what's going on with us, trying to see if we're doing anything bad that we shouldn't be.
I'm following the story, and I guess they're having their moment on the prop, and I'm just trying to observe and take note of what's going on.
After the lower motif, I just kind of go off and it breaks into the smooth criminal section, and that's basically just me being like, okay, I'm done with my little nice time. I'm gonna go back to being this bad smooth criminal that I am, and then I go pick my rifle, join the rest of the boys, and then we just take over with the rifle. We all have the same work, but we all like to put our own little flares on it. And for instance, mine is more laid back, kind of chill, whereas Gabe or Rashad is kind of more in your face, but yet still has that cool intensity. And I just think that's what's so unique about it, is that we can all have these different expressions, facial gestures, whatever, but all look the same and all to look cool while doing the same work.
We go into the smooth criminal section, and then we go into the drum break, and it's actually kind of a funny story. We were at the house we were staying at in All Days, and me, Brandon, and Jacob were just thinking about what we could do for body, and we thought the smooth criminal part, why not moonwalk, you know? We tried it the next day, and we're doing the moonwalk in the drum break, and it's pretty cool, and it's really fun to play.
About halfway through the drum break, we are doing basically a cross-metric modulation, and so we're all staying at the same tempo, but each section is either a celling a rhythm or de-celling their rhythm. So the front ensemble, we're starting out really fast, so we're starting out by playing 16th notes, and then we're going into 7-lits, 6-lits, 5-lits, and then all the way down into 8th notes. At the same time, the battery is a celling their rhythm.
The snare starts with very open rhythms, and we just go straight into 16th notes, inverting them, and going into singles, and then when we finally get back to the 8th notes, that's where we tag back on with the snares and then modulate all the way up to the 10s that we play at the end into the big finish. It's just modulating all the time, and so keeping that in time without changing the balance or changing the speed of the rhythms that we're playing is difficult to stay true to the actual tempo.
Towards the end of the Smooth Criminal theme, you see all the horn lines start to gather together at the end of this drum break. And we all gather on top of the props, and they start playing this huge brass feature together. And you have everyone but the small ensemble playing this loud phrase with a bunch of triplet runs in it, while the small ensemble plays triplet runs on top of that. So it's a layered effect, a lot of bell tone type of stuff to kind of show the dynamic range of the core.
All of the girls join in on Saber, and we have the party hit. So that's a lot about levels. Robbie's always talking about he wants to see the pops of energy throughout that phrase. So we work a lot on, big lunge here, and then we have a lift, and then he wants to see your face on this big pop, and then we have the arch right there, and it's really a lot about, that party energy. There's so many different things to think about. It's like every 3 counts, it's a completely different energy. And I think that's what kind of ties into the whole party scene. You look around at a party and you just see different energies everywhere. There's movement here, there's stillness here, and that's kind of what we're conveying through our choreography, through the character, through our performance, just that constant moving energy.
Next week on Inside BD360.
It's very challenging because the trumpets come in first, then the mellow part comes in with these horn rips, and then the baritones come in. They all build on top of each other into the symphony front, and then we play the Harlem Nocturne.